Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lunchtime Special podcast, a show about life, death, and everything in between. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hello, fellow lunchers, and welcome to Season 2 of the Lunchtime Special podcast. On this week's episode, we're talking about planes, trains, and autonomous vehicles, plus a bit of conspiracy theory on our data and our privacy. We hope you enjoy the show.
Happy New Year, fellow Lunchtime listeners. Welcome to the first episode for 2019. We thought it might be a good idea to start off the year with a bit of a sort of a retrospective session. We'll look back at 2018, some of the predictions, some of the highlights of our panel, and also go into more detail of what we can be looking forward to in 2019. So before we dive into all that, let's introduce the panel. We got Spiro.
G'day, everyone.
Ian.
Hello, everyone.
We got Douglas.
Hey.
Andre.
Heidi-ho.
Let's start off with year 2018. Some of the highlights, big ones. For me, it was Google's Duplex, the big announcement, the whole voice command, voice assistance going through, booking, that sort of thing was a huge improvement and a highlight for me. I think in terms of the impact on that, like we haven't been able to receive that as of yet, as far as I know. But this is one of the biggest highlights for me, because I think this is something where we be seeing more and more, especially in 2019, where we're going to be looking into, especially when you're speaking to taxation officers or any sort of agents, any sort of interactions with all these institutions. We will be thinking, are we speaking to a robot or are we actually speaking to a human? So this is definitely one of my highlights. But I'll throw it to you guys to see from you, what was your highlights for 2018? Who would like to go first? Spirit.
With a mouthful of food.
That's right.
It is lunchtime after all.
Yep.
My highlight. It's interesting. I think the immediate highlight is the actual podcast itself. So we actually began this podcast last year. So that was the start of this journey. On the tech side, I would say I've seen a lot of interesting things being spoken of, yet none of them actually seem to have entirely come to fruition. So the rise of AI, everyone was going on about it. During our TED visit we all went to, we were really hyped and excited to see what AI was going to take us. And probably really when it comes down to the only real highlight for me was the digital spine. Because for me that was a medical technological advancement that knocked our socks off, because we sit there going, hold on, he is literally holding up a spine that will directly go into someone's brain and effectively control devices and computers and effectively give potentially mobility in the future. So by far, I think the digital spine, we'll link to the TED Talk itself. I think it's well worth watching for people out there.
Yeah, that's a good point, Spirit. I think in terms of AI capabilities and features, I think we're only just touching the tip of the iceberg at the moment. In terms of implementation on our day-to-day life, we haven't seen that much, as you say, but it is something definitely on the radar of everyone to see what are the cool features that are coming out. And I think Google is heading the race in that side of things, but we get to see in the future, the capability coming out. From your side, Ian, what was your highlight for 2018?
There's two. From a personal perspective, my highlight was that I got engaged. Woo! Off the market, lady. Sorry. But that was adventurous and fun. Thanks, Spiro. I just want to call out in public. He helped me out a little bit. If anyone needs a video guru / bachelor producer, please get in touch with Spiro. On a technological front, maybe a bit more of a personal experience with the whole Google experience, because I got a Google Home. What I found that's quite interesting about it is that I don't really notice it when it's there, but I notice it very significantly when it's not. So a really good example of that would be I sometimes check the traffic if I have a feeling or heard on the radio that there's an accident or something, check the traffic and how long it's going to take to get to work through Google. Well, that's really handy. Most of the time, I don't even need to think about it. It's just there. When I get into my car, sometimes you encounter traffic on the road, and I would just love the ability to just be able to say, hey, Google, why the hell is there so much traffic? So it's funny how it's invisible technology until it's not there for you to actually use. And I think that that's the kind of technology that I'd like to see further come out in 2019. And what that would look like, I don't know yet. Maybe it'll be a case one day where we have driverless cars. I think they're a long way away still, but maybe that might be the next technology that hopefully someone can kind of crack. I guess all my big exciting things I'd like to see are all the longer term things. Like I'd love to see more Mars exploration, and that the Mars mission that can get a human to Mars kind of move along. Yeah. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see Google's voice command, that sort of approach at the moment, where I think a lot of, even Amazon is trying to get into that market with the home and everything as well. Like
Amazon was the first one, actually.
Yeah.
Amazon came first, but they're all about shopping. You know, they want you to be able to go, I need milk. Hey, Alexa, get me milk. I think the Google Home is a little bit more maybe holistic. So with the Alexa, and Amazon, it's all about shopping, right? So they want you to buy your milk through the Echo, and they want you to create your shopping list. They're making life easier for you, but they're also grabbing your dollar at the same time. Whereas I think
don't forget the data as well, right?
Oh yeah, I think it's for Amazon, it's all about knowing what they can sell you. I mean, for Google, it's the same thing, but Google will probably sell that data to a third party, whereas Amazon will keep it for themselves to try and sell you more products on Amazon. So there's a slight different approach, but the way I see Google Home is it's more insidious in a way, because Google wants to just be a part of everything. It wants to control your home. It wants to know where you work. It wants to predict all these things. And on the surface, it sounds good, I suppose, because you don't have to think about it, but there is always the dark side, the potential of a, data breach, or what we saw with Facebook. I mean, Facebook in 2018 went through an intense period where they were under scrutiny over data. And I mean, we can all laugh at the lack of knowledge that the US senators had when they were grilling Mark Zuckerberg, but that doesn't excuse the point that Facebook collects a lot of data. Facebook sells a lot of data. Facebook is getting to the point where it's so big that no one can fully control it. Even Mark Zuckerberg, if he put his hand to his heart, I don't think he could say, I can control what my business is doing. So if we're looking at the scary side of 2019, this could be the year that things start to implode and governments are going to be forced to intervene in the Googles and the Amazons and the Facebooks and force them to separate.
Yeah, and you can start seeing that already with the European Union and the way the 13th Amendment and that sort of things happening right now, where they are forcing more and more in terms of content producers side of things as well. We see more and more restrictions applied to the users on what they're uploading as well. And this is a ongoing battle between the governments and the Silicon Valley side of things, where the Silicon Valley is looking for more and more the ability to capture data and have more control of the data, whereas the government is wanting to make sure that they have the agencies over that aspect of it. And it's, again, goes back to the individual, which ecosystem you want to be in, right? If you want to be in Google or Facebook or Amazon, and whether you like it or not, you are all part of each of these ecosystems, depending on the services you use, the products you use. So with that, I just want to move a little bit towards the Tesla side of things and electric car side of things as well. See, that's another feature that's at the moment. Tesla was hitting the race in terms of electric cars. All right, so in terms of electric cars, yeah, Tesla was heading the race, but it looks like this year there will be in the market, every manufacturer might be trying to have one of the vehicles available. And I think this is something we need to look into as well. This is a different market, emerging market, compared to the normal technology side of things, where there is that aspect, but in terms of consumer aspect and in terms of environment impact, this might be a game changer. What do you think about that one, Douglas? Are you a fan of electric cars?
Yeah, it's just natural evolution, I think. The key thing about the electric cars is obviously Tesla broke ground, I think, is the key thing. The bigger companies with better logistics more established are starting to put a lot more funding and effort into it, and they're all starting to see the benefits. And they're obviously, based with those guys coming through, they have the power and the political weight and the consumer bulk to basically push it forward. I think Mercedes, but all these big guys, BMW, Chrysler, I think they overtake Tesla. I think Tesla are the guys that were at the point of the arrow, but the industry is shifting that way. So
it's a classic case. It's similar to the smartphones where Apple, even with the desktop as well, Apple came up with the innovation and changed the market, and the others caught up to them, like Samsung and then Huawei now, and they caught up and is capturing the market. But whereas in this case, the manufacturers, like, again, you got Mercedes-Benz, and they already captured the market, but Tesla came in and only got a small segment, whereas now they're going to just drive that forward. It's like,
the other guys didn't really have the market in electric cars. Tesla are the ones that kind of broke that ground, and those guys are now essentially coming around to that idea because people are, it's almost like a little startup. Tesla was a little startup, proving out the idea, getting the foundational base technology working, and these guys are going, there is a market there. They're obviously selling stuff. And obviously with other technologies coming through, different things like Formula E and all that kind of stuff, it's a massive shift towards that way. So I think these guys will win. I think they'll win. I don't think Tesla are going to be as big as a Mercedes. But
so do you see Tesla in terms of this year? Your prediction is more going down, or
it's plateauing a bit? To be honest, I don't think they'll go down, but I think they'll plateau for a bit. I don't think they're going to go. They're not going to increase 2 or 3 times. They're already hitting production issues in terms of being able to deliver.
Yeah.
Again, that's where the logistics comes in, where these guys have got established guys who got massive logistics arms. They've got processes ironed out. Elon Musk was trying to do a fully automated factory, and he's even said, that's probably not possible.
Yeah.
So
that's another aspect.
Again, yeah. But I don't. There's definitely demand, but the problem is they haven't got that logistics and the manufacturing piece nailed. The big guys do. These guys have got that stuff sorted out.
Been in the market for too long.
Yeah, but I mean, they'll definitely. I think they'll definitely keep producing cars and stuff. But when Mercedes and BMW and Fiat and all those guys start to really ramp up, you start to see the turn. Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, you're more likely to see a Toyota hybrid than you are a Tesla, right? I drive every day to work, and I would see at least a handful of hybrid cars. I wouldn't say that I've seen one Tesla in the past month. So whether that's, again, comes back to the logistics that you're talking about, Douglas, or if it's the market appreciates it but can't justify the cost. And that's the thing about environmentalism in general, is that we all love the environment. We all want to save the environment, as long as it doesn't cost us too much money. So unless Tesla can find a way to make their cars more affordable, and they've tried. I think there are cars that are significantly cheaper now than is it the Tesla S? One of them is a lot cheaper now.
Yeah.
But before it was $160,000 for an fully electric car, so it was just out of reach. So they need to do is find that sweet spot where they can say, I care enough about the environment to be willing to pay $50,000 for this car, and I can still see the benefits because it's electric.
It's very similar to the Prius story with Toyota. When they released the first Prius, everyone wanted it. It was really, really hard to get. They were a bit of a fad. It was the first hybrid car, and everyone expected all hybrid cars to even look the same. So I think Honda released a hybrid car, and they almost mirrored every aspect of the vehicle in look and feel, because that was almost the new standard of what people believe a hybrid car would be. And now we've got Brad and his hybrid, which looks totally different to the very first generation of Toyota Priuses. So yes, the same thing applies to Tesla and those vehicles. They're setting a benchmark. They will get superseded when the bigger players kick in. They'll bring in their experience, their know-how, their manufacturing and logistics, which are global. They'll be able to bring the costs down. Their profits will go up as well. And it'll be interesting, for example, when a truly environmentally friendly producer, or one that's actually quite savvy when it comes to recycling environmentalism, like say, for example, Volvo, when they get into the market, like really get